Salute everybody. Salute. Hey Sword. Hey Jordy Poole. What it do, Sissy Poole? Man, it is Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th. And it has definitely been a freaky Friday for me, to say the least. Um, but I'm here. I took the day off yesterday. Let me see. Let me turn this off. Okay. Put on do not disturb. Do not disturb. Hey Regina, what it do, sister? Thankful, what it do, sister? Hey Flex, what it do? Man, is it gonna be an eventful night tonight? Hit that like button for me. Make sure you sub to the channel. Turn on your notification bell so you don't miss a live. Hey Annie. We don't want you guys to miss a live. Hey Annette. Because tonight is gonna be epic. Okay? We're gonna have movie night. Movie night. We always do when we have a Nazai Harris story. We have a movie night. You know why we're gonna have a movie night? Because I got more transcripts. I got more transcripts, guys. And these are epic, I must say. And I like to break stuff down, in my own way. And I got a receipt I'm on the show too. Hey, Angel One, Queen Butterfly, picture printing. Hey, Waverly, sister, what it do? Capricorn Tea Lady. What it do? Robin, Marianne, what it do? Sister, Kenya, sister, Pookie Boat, Milky Way, what it do? You might cry on this one. Well, I never heard of this one. Kenya tried to lace me up. She's like, sister, gotta be spiritually strong. But hey, the Glenora Bates and Dakota, those was pretty horrible and horrific. Hey, Mermaid. Hey, Valerie. What it do? Hey, Travel Levi. Hey, sister. Stop that running. Stop that. Hey, Goddess sister. Thank you, Jordy. Thank you. Hey, Adjusted sister. What it do? I want to get this out the way really quick because Juju is going live in just a second. I had this live set up and I couldn't get it. I got to get my schedule out of the way because I'm going to be covering Shai Robinson next week and stuff. Hey, Shane Croc, salute. Y'all check out Shane Croc's live about the Shanquilla Robinson update and stuff like that. Hey, Jesse. Jessica, I need you to email me too. Email me and stuff so I can get you into this meeting, okay? And stuff on Saturday. But yeah. Hey, Novi, what you do, sister? Hey, Jamie, sister. But yeah, I want to get this out of the way really quick and let Juju do her thing. Hey, Candy. Hey, sister. What it do? What it do? Hey, Veronica. Yes, children lives matter. Stop hurting these babies. Hey, Gina, what it do, sister? Hey, Tanya. All right, let's get into this. This is the Hart family. Had no heart. That's why I named it after hearing a couple of things about it. Hey, Lisa. Didn't throw out the case or something. Regina, I don't know. Hey, Blenda Hillen. Drop your link, Blenda Hillen. Hey, Carla. So I want to get this story out and see what we can do. To keep these children's names alive as well and stuff. Hey, Chick, Simple Lady. These two bitches are awful. Let's get into it. I've never heard of this story. I might have did hear it in passing, but not like her reading into it or anything like that. So this is the Hart family that had no heart at all. And that's what I titled it. I stand on that from what I've heard. So yeah, y'all make sure, thank you for dropping Shank's link and Blended Healing as well, please. Thank you, Blended Healing. Hey, Nola.
Jennifer and Sarah Hart adopted 6 children. They were Marcus, 19, Hannah, 16, Devontae, 15, Abigail, 14, Jeremiah, 14, and Sierra, 12. Adopted by 2 moms.
Get him. What are you doing?
I was excited.
Whoa.
They were
Salute, J Dunn. Salute. Y'all can drop J Dunn's link. J Dunn, send me another email because I think your email got lost and I'm really interested in the story that you wanted me to look into. So please resend that. I put a message in. I don't know if you might have seen it on YouTube, but please send that story again. And thank you for thinking about me, Jay, done with the story, okay? But this is two mothers, and I'm just hearing the kids giggle. So it's crazy how we keep getting to this point where kids are laughing, kids are vibrant, kids are smiling and stuff like that. And then boom, and somehow we fall on the kids are unalive, the kids are SA, the kids are starved, and CPS is called and nothing happens. But just the giggles of the kids is going to take me, because especially if they did something horrific, as I've heard about this story, and just watching the kids laugh and smile and stuff, and now we're ending it in tragedy is crazy to me. Hey, I see through you. Hey, sister.
Beautiful family by most accounts. Friends called them the Hart tribe. Friends and devoted Facebook followers called them, quote, the perfect couple with the perfect kids.
I mean, what you're showing me that they were part of that and the pictures, it was not the family we saw next door.
From their outside, their cozy split level looked like a happy home. So, what led Jen to drive her family off a California highway to their deaths?
Officers described this scene with no traces of stopping at the edge as unlike anything they'd witnessed before. Based on his toxicology report, the driver, Jennifer Hart, had an alcohol level above the legal limit, and also confirmed several other family members had unusually high amounts of Benadryl in their system, including a toxic level for the other parent, Sarah.
Find out what went wrong in this documentary that exposes the dark side of Child Protective Services and a nightmare that took the lives of an entire family. Jennifer Jean Hart was born June 4th, 1979, and Sarah Margaret Hart was born on April 8th, 1979, both from South Dakota. Jennifer originated from Huron, Sarah from Big Stone City, although some sources claim Ortonville, Minnesota, adjacent to Big Stone City, as Sarah's hometown. Both women were the eldest children of their families. Jennifer had 2 siblings, and Sarah had 3 siblings. According to her father, Jennifer was not initially raised as a Lutheran, but baptized as one. Jennifer attended Huron High School. Sarah attended high school in Minnesota. The 2 women attended and began their relationship at Northern State University. Sarah had initially attended the University of Minnesota for 1 semester before transferring to NSU, while Jennifer started in Augustana University before transferring in 1999. Both women majored in elementary education, with Sarah focusing on special education. After Sarah graduated in 2002, Jennifer left the university without graduating. In 2005, Sarah asked a local court to have her last name altered to match her partner's. The couple went to Connecticut to be married in 2009. At the time, same-sex marriage was not yet legal in every U.S. state. On Facebook, Jennifer stated that the women were initially closeted when they lived in South Dakota, and that when they came out, they lost friends. They moved to Alexandria, Minnesota in 2004, where both women worked at a Herberger's store. In the new location, they made a choice to be open about their relationship. Jennifer worked miscellaneous jobs until she became a stay-at-home mom in 2006, while Sarah became a manager at Herberger's. After a period of living in Westland, Oregon,
Like candy.
the Harts moved to an unincorporated area near Woodland, Washington. Sarah became a manager at a Kohl's in Hazel Dell. The couple were living near Woodland at the time of the murder. Adopted children, which accounted for almost 50% of the family's income. Members of Jennifer's and Sarah's families stated that the two women distanced themselves from them, although both families were accepting of their sexual orientation. Jennifer estranged herself from her father after 2001. State government reports stated that the couple cut off contact with their relatives because of criticism about their parenting. Prior to adopting their 6 children, the Harts were foster parents to a
So for them to get criticism about their parenting, that's why they distanced themselves, because something wasn't right for somebody to say. They called it criticism, but what it was, somebody must have been saying, hey, something ain't right. Like, hey, maybe you're too this, maybe something, but they called it criticism. But I'm sensing something more.
a 15-year-old girl. A week before their first 3 children were due to arrive, the Harts dropped the girl off at a scheduled therapist appointment. The therapist then informed the girl that the Harts would not be coming back for her. Abigail was born in 2003. Hannah Jean was born in 2002. And Marcus Hart was born in 1998. They were adopted by the Harts from Colorado County, Texas. The placement came in March 4th, 2006, and they were adopted that September. In June 2008, they adopted 3 additional children: Sierra Miaja, who was born in 2005, Devontae Jordan, who was born in 2002.
So they had the little girl, right? Is that what you're telling me, Milky Way? The one little girl, when the therapist said they're never coming back to get you. Let me understand this. Hey, Dragon. Y'all mean to tell me that they said that they're never coming back to get you? Is that what they're saying? Let me take that back, because I want to make sure I get that straight.
Were foster parents to a 15-year-old girl.
Can y'all drop
A week before their first 3 children were due to arrive,
Hey,
the
Rob.
Harts dropped the girl off at a scheduled therapist appointment. The therapist then informed the girl that the Harts would not be coming back for her. Abigail was born in 2003.
Hey, Simply Me. Yeah, they're in it for the money, but it's sad to say maybe that was God's plan not to let her be in that household, because that saved her life. That saved her life. And the fact that they did that, why wasn't that reported? Hey, Karen, why wasn't that reported that they just abandoned this child, but they have, you know what I'm saying? Like, that should have been reported, because they're mandate reporters too, and that's neglect. You just drop a child off at therapy and say, hey, they're never coming back to get you. That's crazy work. Hey, Tammy.
Hannah Jean was born in 2002, and Marcus Hart was born in 1998. They were adopted by the Harts from Colorado County, Texas. The placement came in March 4th, 2006, and they were adopted that September. In June 2008, they adopted 3 additional children: Sierra Miaja, who was born in 2005, Devontae Jordan, who was born in 2002, and Jeremiah Hart, born in 2004. All of them originating from Houston after their biological mother, Sherry Davis, lost custody due to substance abuse problems in August 2006. In 2008, while the family was living in Minnesota, a teacher observed bruises on Hannah's left arm and was told she had been hit by Jennifer with a belt. Within months, all 6 children had been pulled out of public school system for a year.
Mm.
In 2010, Abigail said she had owies on her back and stomach, stating that she felt threatened by the Harts.
Hey, Carla.
The Harts had beaten her and had held her head in cold water over a penny they assumed had been stolen.
We're learning new details about the Harts' relationship, stemming back to when they were living in Minnesota. Minnesota was where the Harts lived when they adopted all 6 children from Texas. It was also where they were first accused of child abuse. Sarah Hart pleaded guilty to domestic assault after one of the couple's daughters, Abigail, accused Sarah of hitting her. We now have emails from around that time revealing troubles in the couple's marriage. 3 months earlier, Jennifer Hart wrote a friend saying she felt unloved, that Sarah was horrible about showing love, and that Jennifer felt she was raising the kids on her own. She also wrote that while Sarah loves the kids, she had not been fully present with either her or them. At least one friend, however, reported to Oregon's Department of Human Services that she believed Jennifer was the one who was abusive, manipulative, and controlling, and that she was the one going overboard in punishing the kids.
And in 2011, one of the women, Sarah Hart, was convicted of domestic assault against the couple's 6-year-old daughter. Court records from Minnesota say a teacher discovered bruises on the girl's back and stomach.
So I'm trying to figure out how did they even keep the kids getting charged? This is just like the kids was failed. Hey, Drea. And Drea, we'll be over there with Juju in just a second. I had this live set up and tell her I'm so sorry. But they had this. I mean, why didn't I give the kids back? If y'all suffering in y'all relationship and you know what I'm saying? You was taking that out on the children. It seems like Jennifer was taking that out on the kids. I know, right? 504 girl. T, I'm just saying, like, hey, mom dudes. I'm just saying that, you don't want the kids. You're struggling in your relationship. So all of that aggression was going off on them kids. Jennifer was taking everything out on them kids. But the fact that the other one didn't do nothing, I think it's Sarah, whatever her name is. But, yeah, this is sad. Yeah, they pulled them kids out of that school, but that's when, everything as far as their foster care should have been prevented. They shouldn't have been able to care for children after that. Them kids could have been saved. Another case of the kids could have been saved. Hey, Miss Blind. Right, Carla? I'm just saying the kids could have been saved.
Sarah said they've been having behavior issues with their daughter and admitted she let her anger get out of control and bent the child over the edge of a bathtub and spanked her.
When authorities became involved, all children claimed that they had been spanked constantly and deprived of food. Sarah took responsibility for the abuse, pled guilty to assault, and was sentenced to community service for a year. 1 year later, Hannah reportedly told the school nurse that she had not eaten all day. Sarah claimed that Hannah was merely, quote, playing the food card, unquote, and recommended that she just be given water. Soon afterward, all 6 children were taken out of public schools and were homeschooled from then on. Prior to the murders, 12-year-old Devante came into the national spotlight when he was photographed crying as he embraced a police officer during a 2014 protest in Portland, Oregon, resulting from the Ferguson unrest. The image became known as the, quote, hug felt around the world. Jennifer was very active on social media and used Facebook to project an image of a loving, happy family.
Oh my God.
While also sharing her thoughts on race.
Wait a minute. Did y'all see the kids' ribs? Absolutely not, Niecy. But when they was just painting, I thought we was looking at some Ethiopian children. I'm not gonna lie, nothing against children, but I'm just saying, like, and had the nerve to have the kids. Yeah, 504. That was beyond starvation. Like, my God. This is beyond crazy. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Thank you, Adjusted. Watch this picture, y'all. This kid's ribs.
resulting from the Ferguson unrest. The image became known as the,
Terrible.
quote, hug felt around the world. Jennifer was very active on social media and used Facebook to project an image
Look at
of a
those
loving,
kids.
happy family.
Look at those kids. My God. This one over here is ribs in the red, but this one standing up, my God. Diamond, you hear me? This is, but this is what saying his spine and rib cage was. Yeah, it's right there. Right, his knee. Look at his knees, y'all, in the red. There's no way. I couldn't even be around the child and see this. I could not be around the child and watch this. I just couldn't for the life of me. In real time. It looked like a pull-up, don't it? 504. Exactly. And I didn't even pay attention to that. My God. She said, look how the stomach started ballooning from starvation. Yeah. Yeah. Jesus.
While also sharing her thoughts on race, politics, and trips the family went on. This helped mask some of the problems within the family. One allegation of child abuse from 2013 touched upon Jennifer's use of Facebook, saying that the kids pose and are made to look like one big happy family, but after the photo event, they go back to looking lifeless.
Who was Jennifer Hart? What do we know about her?
You know, that has been one of the biggest mysteries. We have these photos of a smiling, blended family, contrasting with multiple reports of child abuse.
We weren't duped. That love wasn't fake. They loved their children. They weren't white supremacists.
No, they didn't, girl.
They just were isolated. They were in pain. And she was.
I hate friends like this. I mean, like, bitch, you're not even a friend. Because a real friend is going to shut you down. A real friend is going to call that shit out. And a real friend is going to step up. I'm like, yeah, they love those kids. No, bitch, they did not. Is she the fuck okay? Because look. I'm just saying. This shit is sick. I don't know. They love their kids. They were just isolated. Yeah, for that reason, to abuse children. When they go in isolation, just like Shannon and them, when they go in isolation, that's what they do because it's abuse. It's something going on. Hey, Commander. It's something going on. But she's saying this after the fact, 504 girl. The front could have been put on, 504 girl, but shit, after, I don't unalive me and the children now. Or it's abuse out here. Because how she didn't see what we just seen with them ribs and so much more. We could put up a front for so long, but I'm gonna go through and see if the allegations are real. So I can make a motherfucking report. That's what I'm gonna do. So I can make a report. Now I'm gonna see. But other than that, yeah, that was a source of income. They were some weirdos. Yeah, it is 504 girl. And I get that, but once I heard that kind of shit, I'm going to my friends just to see for myself. Like, I still fuck you up until the point where I see them kids for myself. I'm going to play it off and everything, but I got to see these kids for themselves, for myself. And then I'll go from there. Other than that, I'm not going. Hey, Miss TT.
Constant anxiety.
Back to PR says Jennifer struggled after a photo of Devontae hugging a Portland police officer at a protest went viral.
After that picture happened with Devontae, Jen went into like the deepest, darkest depression ever.
Jennifer texted that the backlash to the photo was traumatic, that people were stalking the house and leaving threats in their mailbox. She said that's why she had been, in her words, non-existent publicly, that she was working through some messed up stuff.
Now that I realize like how serious it was, it's like
how do you go in depression? Hey, Aisha, how do you go in depression because he hugged and you would be proud at that moment? You would think that when your child is hugging and he's crying about this protest, that why did she go in depression? And you're saying like, yeah, after that moment, she went into depression. For what? Man, I
just wish I had known to be like, well, let's get security cameras, or like, let's call somebody, or let's find remediation.
In another text sent last year, Jennifer told Bakhtiar that during the past 8 months, she had only texted 3 people, Bakhtiar, Sarah, and a stranger by accident. She said it had been the toughest year of her life.
In 2013, Oregon authorities were notified of the abuse allegations in Minnesota. Their investigation included separate interviews of everyone in the family, as well as interviews of people who knew the family. 2 family friends stated that the children were forced to raise their hands before speaking, could not wish each other a happy birthday, and could not laugh at the dinner table. There were other reports that the children were poorly fed and looked small for their ages. One family friend reported that Jennifer had ordered a pizza for the children, but each was only allowed to have a single slice. When Jennifer discovered that the pizza was gone, she punished the children by not feeding them breakfast and forcing them to lie on their bed for 5 hours. Friends also stated that the children acted scared to death of Jen and likened them to trained robots. However, the interviews of the children themselves revealed no new incidents of abuse, nor did they mention anything that had happened in Minnesota. When Jennifer herself was interviewed, she claimed that any family problems were the results of others not being tolerant of 2 lesbian mothers with 6 African American children. In the end, the investigation could not conclude whether the Harts were guilty of anything or whether there was a safety threat. In August 2017, after the Harts had since moved to Woodland, Washington, Hannah jumped out of her second-story bedroom window at around 1:30 a.m. and approached the residence of her next-door neighbors, the Kebabs. Hannah reportedly pleaded, "Don't make me go back. They're racist and they abuse us." Soon afterwards, the Harts found Hannah and took her back home. The following day, Jennifer attempted to explain the incident by claiming that Hannah was lying, that the children occasionally acted out because they were, quote, drug babies, unquote, and that Hannah's biological mother was bipolar.
Well, I mean, we had an incident before with an evening situation that made Dana very concerned about what was going on next door. And then about a week ago or so, one of the children came over and started asking for food. And it went on for a period of time until we kind of determined that he was probably reaching out. And we determined that we should call the Child Protective Services, and that's what we did on Friday.
You said he was asking for a lot of food.
Yeah, a lot of food. I mean, it started out
tortillas, and it ended up a case of food. Multiple, cured meats, non-perishable food items.
Right.
And was asking that we not tell his mom and to, hide it and put it by the fence so he could get to it. And that they were withholding food from him as punishment.
Oh, it was Devontae.
definitely.
You guys have shown us pictures, and we've talked about that one, that it was Devontae for sure.
You told me you were a little surprised when he said he was 15 because he was small.
Well, they were all small. I mean, the one girl who.
It's sad because you call and you think you're doing the right thing, and it's nothing. And this is why sometimes people don't call. Like, I got to be honest. They are corrupt. Aisha, you're right. But this is why people just fall back. They call and get nothing. These women were clearly prejudiced. And they used their bisexual, their relationship as an scapegoat. And that's crazy to me. Because if we're seeing what we're seeing, they've seen that. Hey, Miss Minnie, thank you. Thank you, sister.
Was 12, looked like she was 7. Both of her teeth were missing, front teeth, and we questioned, what's up with the teeth thing, and they said, well, she didn't want them replaced. We thought that was a little weird, but anyway, they were all very small.
Very thin and tiny. We only met Jennifer once, and that was in reference to the incident.
Right, Tammy, they did.
Right.
She only was here that next
That's what I
time.
said on Natty.
I met with Jennifer a couple of times in regards to sharing the driveway, and she wasn't friendly at all. She was mean.
1:30 in the morning, the doorbell's ringing, and I answered the door, and then she was standing out there with in a blanket, completely covered in blackberries, because she had gone to that neighbor's house through the blackberries, and then they have a gate that locks that, so she ended up back over on our front doorstep. And at the time, I didn't know what to do, so
What'd she say?
She said that she said that she wanted us to take her to Seattle, and that they weren't treating her right. Don't make her go back. But kids can do stuff sometimes when they're a certain age. They run away from home and stuff like that. So by that time, they were all out looking for her with flashlights, and so we tried to get some story as to what was going on. And of course, they told us what we wanted to hear, I guess, and life went on for another 8 months. And here we are today. Well, once she heard they were from
when I saw that
West
it said
Lynn,
2 women from West Lynn and 3 kids, my gut was it was them.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just knew it was them. Probably because the fact that they took off and never came back, and they aren't people that usually leave anywhere. Probably because I really believe they were evil.
Sure.
The only time you saw Devontae was pretty much the only one we ever saw outside, and he was doing chores.
Yeah,
that was the only time.
he did
there
the
was
garbage
no
and raked the leaves and all, stuff like that. But anybody else other than that night? Because they all came over the next morning with a
with a story.
A story.
And Devontae told us that they had lied and made us just to make us feel good that everything Hannah told us was true.
Yeah.
On March 26, 2018, Jennifer and Sarah Hart murdered all 6 of their children when Jennifer drove their GMC Yukon XL over a 100-foot cliff on California State Road 1 in Mendocino County, California, near West Point. The bodies of 5 of the children, Hannah, Marcus, Jeremiah, Abigail, and Sierra, were found in or near the vehicle, which had landed upside down on a beach below the cliff. The body of Devontae has not been found as of 2022.
Wow. And look at that, y'all. She was getting it. She was to dig in that mud like that with your vehicle. She was flying beyond measures. Like, she was flying through to get. Hey, Gloria. Right, where is Devontae? Right, 504 girl. That's what I'm thinking. For them to never find him, did he make it out? Yeah, Miss Blonde, swear. Yeah, it is sad. It is. It's sad. I'm gonna try to get the 911 call, guys, and play it and stuff. But this is so horrific right now, y'all. This is beyond me, and the fact that they got to get away with it is they're all getting away with it. Think about it. They're all getting away with it. It's not even just them, all of them. Annette, Dorothy, so many others. Right. That's a good question, Karen.
A Superior Court judge ruled that Devontae was in the vehicle at the time of the crash, and a death certificate was signed on April 3rd of that year. Expert analysis of the SUV's internal airbag deploying computer determined that the Yukon had been intentionally driven off the edge of the cliff from a standing stop, accelerating to 20 miles per hour in 3 seconds with the throttle at 100%. A 14-member coroner's jury unanimously ruled that the case was a murder-suicide. The inquest was called to determine cause of death, but not any responsibility in the civil or criminal fields. California Highway Patrol stated that criminal prosecution was not possible due to the deaths of any responsible parties. Toxicology results showed that Jennifer's blood alcohol content was over the legal limit at the time of the crash, and that both Sarah and 2 of the children had diphenhydramine in their systems. Sarah had made Google searches before the crash inquiring about the lethality of Benadryl and the nature of death by drowning. Her searches also included no-kill shelters for dogs. The family's 2 dogs were found inside the Hart family home. The Mendocino County Sheriff's Department officially closed the case and released declassified records in 2019. According to an incident report following the murders, it was reported that Sarah told a coworker, quote, she wished she and Jennifer would not have adopted the children, unquote. How did this happen? How did such a tragedy occur? And could it have been stopped? These are the rational questions that present themselves when faced with a murder-suicide and the deaths of 8 people. Looking at the history of Jennifer and Sarah Hart, immediate questions come to mind. Why were they allowed to adopt other children when they abandoned the first child under their care?
Right.
Why did the state of Texas allow 2 women who had never been parents themselves to suddenly become the guardians of 6 children? Why were there no periodic checks on the welfare of the children from point of adoption forward? And especially after an initial investigation was done, were there no follow-up checks mandated? There is no question that we have far too many children in need of adoption to loving, caring adults to raise them into adulthood, and a DHS system that does not have the staff to meet the needs.
It's the psychotic shit going on for me. It's the kids hugging them, smiling, and they're playing with the kids, but all along, it was all, okay, I got it, sis. Thank you. All along, yeah, where's Devontae? KMC, I was great to say, I bet they show that dog more love than they show them children, but it's just the psychotic part of it. Imagine being with some kids and 6 kids and you see these kids smiling, all to know that it was a facade the whole time. It was all a show. On both ends. Right, Milky Way, I see. Once kids get adopted, the involvement from the state stops, but when they charge comes, CPS should have been back. Right. Come on, 504. Automatically. Everything should have stopped. Kids should have been removed. But like they said, once they even, before the charges, once they even left that girl at the therapist and never went and picked her up. By the grace of God. Thank God. Thank God. But in the life of saving one, 6 died. Yes. Chick Simple Lady, I mean, we see. All they had to say was, oh, y'all don't like us because we're lesbians and we're raising kids. No. But that takes you back to that couple down there, them 2 men that lived in Atlanta that unalived those 2 brothers. They essayed them and unalived them. I'm going to find them and read about that too.
Of so many cases they are burdened with. Are adopters given sufficient background review and psychological testing to see if they are fit parents? Why did Jennifer and Sarah Hart kill themselves? Suicide is an act where the persons involved believe there is no other option. Why did Jennifer and Sarah believe this? Could it be that their history of abuse and neglect was about to be exposed once and for all, and they took what they believed was the easy way out? Why, if the burden was so great, did they not seek assistance in caring for the children, or optionally transfer custody to other foster parents? It is sadly possible that the Harts were using the children as a source of income only, as a means to acquire money.
I believe that, Belinda. I do. For them not to find Devontae, but everybody else was there, because they could tell if he's been ejected from the car and all of that. But I think they did something to Devontae, and once they knew they did something to him, they took each other out, because there's no way. They was skinny. They said he was simply mean. Right, Shay, right. Didn't take the dog out. He's 6. Take yourself out. But it's not, is it their fault really? That the state kept allowing them to get away with this? Is it really their fault? Right, sweet, all the time. They hate that they adopt the kids. Well, give them back. Y'all loved it because y'all got them mistreated. They was y'all punching bags. They was y'all slaves. As we hear so many stories like it's about the black kids. Wasn't that the white couple that adopted them black kids, had them living out there in that shed, slaving? And so much more, abusing them. Yeah, that was Devontae Marianne, the one they said they couldn't find in the wreck. What happened to Devontae? We'll never know.
Without any intent to care for the children under their charge. Whatever intent Jennifer and Sarah may have started out with when they first adopted the 6 children, the story of their lives should never have ended at the bottom of a cliff in a crushed SUV. It is said that a society is judged not by its achievements, but by how it treats the most vulnerable citizens. I cannot think of a more vulnerable person than a child at the mercy of an adult in an uncaring and abusive home.
I want to get to this 911 call really quick.
Investigation is still going on for the 3 missing Hart children. Bad weather is slowing down efforts in Northern California.
But our investigation is turning up new information about the Hart family's last months and days. Our Gabrielle Carroll joins us now with the new information. What'd you find out, Gabrielle?
Well, Dan and Jennifer, today we received audio from Clark County 911 calls, including a call from a friend of Sarah Hart's the day the family's car was discovered crashed in California. Take a listen.
And who are we checking on?
Sarah Hart. This 911 call came in on Monday, March 26th. 2 days earlier, at 3 o'clock on Saturday morning, Sarah Hart's friend says she received a worrisome text message. Then, silence.
She just said that she just is unable to come out and wasn't able to go to work and thought she was going to have to go to the doctor. I checked the hospital, they didn't have any record of her, and I think her phone is not there.
The 911 log that day shows how Clark County dispatchers were beginning to put together disturbing details about the family's disappearance. The log shows that Child Protective Services had called earlier in the day.
Okay, and what was the reason we were checking on? Because the children weren't being fed.
And the log shows that in November, the father of...
That was a CPS worker too. 2 days before. 2 days before, and they could have saved these children. Yeah, Shay. Hey, Deborah. Yeah, that money stopped. Yeah, 504 girl. Hey, Justine.
Neighbor also called 911 with concerns.
I just can't let this go any longer. Those kids, I think, is in very serious danger.
The Clark County Sheriff's Office tells me it is currently reviewing its response to all calls for service at the Hart home. The Sheriff's Office did not choose to investigate that November call because it felt there was not enough information at the time.
Said the CPS failed to take on that call because they felt like it just wasn't enough information. People calling saying they think the children are in danger. Why does it always take the kids to be unalived? Why does it keep taking the children to be unalived?
We will continue to ask more questions about whether more could have been done to protect these children. Back to you.
Gabrielle Carroll live in the newsroom tonight. Thank you so much for those updates.
It's so unfortunate. I want to play one more. Give me a second.
Report, this family has a history with Child Protective Services, both in the last few days and several years ago. The Clark County Sheriff was asked to go to the house in Woodland Monday to check on the 6 kids after CPS got an anonymous call. Deputies say CPS had already sent a caseworker to the house twice before to check on the family without getting anyone to come to the door. Then yesterday, the day after the crash, California authorities asked the sheriff to check the house again for the 3 missing kids. Deputies tell us everything appeared normal, but there's no sign of the children. And we also learned that in 2011...
Then that's not normal, sir. The sheriff goes said, well, everything seemed normal, but there's no sign of the kids. Right, that's what they're calling about, sir. They didn't say go look and see if everything's normal. They said check on the kids. So the sheriff just goes to the house, well, like a net. Yeah, everything looks normal. Yeah, Gloria, yeah. 504, y'all, this is...
Her Hart was convicted of domestic assault against the couple's 6-year-old daughter. Court records from Minnesota say a teacher discovered bruises on the girl's back and stomach. Sarah said they've been having behavior issues with their daughter and admitted she let her anger get out of control and bent the child over the edge of a bathtub and spanked her.
And we're also talking with the couple who called Child Protective Services on the family, their neighbors up in Woodland. Our Cole Miller is here now with those details. And Cole, they were pretty worried right away after they saw CPS do that door knock.
Jennifer, that's exactly right. They tell me that all happened just on Friday, that they knew the family was home, but no one came to the door. No one answered. As they put it, this was yet another disturbing sign that something was very wrong. That couple, Bruce and Dana, called to say the family moved in nearby back in May of last year. And from then until now, rarely saw them, but tell us they did see those children off and on. It was almost always when they were in some kind of trouble. The DeKalbs described those children as thin and small given their ages, adding at one point one of the boys came by asking for food at first, just a few things, but it kept happening.
Yeah.
And asking them to leave food by a nearby fence so that he could come and get it, saying his mother was withholding meals from him. Also, late last year, they say a little girl came over in the middle of the night covered in blackberry thistle, asking to be driven up to Seattle, that she did not want to go back home.
They portray this happy little family, and yet, the night before, their daughter's telling us, please, 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 begging us not to make her go back and that they are abusing her. And then Devontae coming over here and telling us that, he's being starved to death and they're mean. And
just heartbreaking to hear that. Now, we also spoke with neighbors in West Lynn, where the family used to live. They tell us they really kept to themselves and lived a pretty private life. As for that Woodland couple, they also tell us they worry no one knew exactly what was going on, because had someone known, something more probably would have been done. Now, it is worth mentioning I'll be talking to a family friend here shortly who says they were nothing short of amazing. We hope to have her story coming up a little later tonight. For now, we'll send it back to you.
Nicole, we are hearing from close friends of the family had nothing but positive things to say about the Hart family.
For that part of the story, we go to our Chris Holmstrom, who joins us live from their home in Wood.
Whose dad called 911? Because I don't see it. I don't see it. So maybe I'll come back another day and replay it. It's sad. It's real sad, y'all. I'll get more into detail and probably come back next week after I cover the Sade Robinson and do a part 2, just to do it. The biological grandfather wanted them. Let me see. Trying to see if I can find it. Let me see if I can play it like this. I think I might got it. Let me see.
There are 2 911 calls that have been released, and I have the full calls. One is a friend of Sarah.
But Jay Dunn, the question is, where is he? Do you think that they did something to him? They unalived him, Jay Dunn, and then that's what made her drive off the cliff, because where they did something to him? Because they said the night before that the girl and Devontae had came over like the night before, and they said then after that they knew something was wrong, or a couple of days before. His statements.
Texted a friend saying that she was not feeling well and wasn't going to be able to go out, and maybe she was going to have to go to the hospital or something. And then her friend called 911 at a certain point because she was worried about her. Okay.
Because where's Devontae?
A different call than the actual DeKalbs, the neighbors that called in February. This is back in November. This person was so concerned, and you just got to listen to this. It's crazy. All right, so here we go. All right, I'm going to put the actual text of the calls on the screen too. So let's play this. Here we go.
Connectivity through psych.
And who are we checking on? Sarah Hart. And how are you related to her? Just a friend. Tell me the reason that we're checking on her again. She sent out a
Yep,
text
J
message at
Dunn.
3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday.
That's why I said J Dunn. When the friend said, pay attention, J Dunn, y'all. When the friend said after he hugged that police and it went viral, that she went into a deep depression, I couldn't understand that. I said, well, that's a big moment for y'all. That's a monumental moment to make y'all look good that y'all teaching him the right thing. But instead, you got depressed. You got depressed because those kids wasn't supposed to get show love. Those kids was never supposed to get show love. Devontae, how dare Devontae get some shine and spotlight? They did something to Devontae before they rode off a cliff. And the crazy part is, I bet y'all they wrote it off as he's dead. I know they did. I know what I bet when I go do my research, it wasn't a search party for that baby. They wrote it up. Oh, he was in the car. How do y'all know? Was it ever camera footage saying he was in the car? How did they know? I'm going to do some more research, Milky Way. She said Devontae was Jen's favorite. If she knew he was going to the house for food, she might have done something to him. Or Sarah. She said they just checked the house. Right, exactly. But y'all see that they would be always in the mountains, down by the water and shit. They knew places.
Morning, stating that she was sick, but nobody's been able to get a hold of her or talk to her or seen her since that text message. Okay. Or her wife, which is Jen. So we're just concerned.
Okay, so the text message that Sarah sent was at 3 a.m. The same, okay, so you know the day that the cops reported and CPS showed up. Jennifer went home, then Sarah came rushing home. Then later that night, it's midnight, then 3 a.m., Sarah texted this friend to say, hey, I'm not feeling well, whatever. And then at 8 a.m., they're in Newport. Okay, so just keep that in mind.
Okay, and did she say, when she said she was sick, did she say what was going on, or? She just said that she just is unable to come out.
Okay,
and
let's see.
Wasn't able to go to work and thought she was going to have to go to the doctor. I checked the hospital, so they didn't have any record of her. And I think her phone is now dead. And what is her phone number? Okay. And just the two of them live there, or? And they have 6 children.
Yeah, there's some kids that I feel is being highly abused. Yeah.
Okay, now the second call, I mean, I guess this part wasn't left on that last recording. It said, has she been suicidal at all? Not that I'm aware of. That's funny that that lady would ask that question.
Right.
The operator, the dispatcher. All right, now let's play this second call. This is in November, so it's actually, 3 months prior to this other 911 call. These are just some of the few 911 calls released. So listen.
Highly abused. And I can't.
And they have 6 children.
So
yeah, there's some kids that I feel is being highly abused. And I can't wait to.
Okay, it makes sense. J Dunn said, I believe that the kids had always been mistreated, but Devontae's spotlight meant that the abuse would eventually be found out. To keep their image, they got rid of him, and then the others. Absolutely, J Dunn. I can agree with that. I can agree with that. Because remember, the friend said that how they was just quiet and, they was distant. And yeah, we see that in the homes. They don't like that. Once that little girl went to school and said they beat her, y'all see how they homeschooled them children. Homeschooled them, they took them kids out of school fast for that reason. And when Devontae did that, how dare he put the spotlight on him? You right, J Dunn. Thank you. Nashira, thank you. Yeah, that's what they did. That's what they did. Yeah, Marine.
In Woodland, Washington.
What's the address?
Okay, I'm going to give you the address of my daughter's house because it's right next door.
Okay.
God, whoever transcribed this was terrible. Okay.
What's going on there?
Well, they have 4 black children, which that part doesn't matter, and they're new here in Texas. But the other night, a little girl jumped out of the second-story window on the roof and then down onto the ground and ran to my daughter. And this is like 2 in the morning, begging them to help her.
When did that happen?
About 3-4 nights ago.
Okay.
And my son-in-law doesn't want to get involved, but the more I sit on it, I just can't live with it. Somebody's got to go there and check on it.
So how old was the little kid that did that ran to your daughter's house?
About 12 years old, 13. And when they came looking for her, she was begging my daughter not to let them know she was there. And then eventually my son-in-law let him know. And then she had all 4 of the kids come back later.
I bet they ass feel guilty. You can 504 girl. And I know to this day that they asses feel guilty that they could have saved them kids. Yeah, you can hear Milky Way. You can. It is sad. Because I wouldn't even turn my back. Because the kids are begging you not to say nothing and you say something. And a couple days later, they're gone. Life taken so brutally and horrific.
Later, and to say everything was okay and they were all standing at attention like they were just scared to death.
Mm.
And I think there's something very serious going on there. And they're here from Texas. The kids might even be kidnapped.
Mm.
Okay. And so did the girl ever say why she was scared?
Right.
No, she was crying and
Davida.
it was 2 in the morning and my daughter said the biggest problem was she's half awake. She couldn't believe what was going on. And basically my son-in-law is like most people, they don't want to get involved. And so he's keeping my daughter out of it, but since she's told me about it, I just can't live with it.
Right.
I'm very concerned for these kids. I just can't let this go any longer. Those kids, I think, is in very serious danger.
Never sue the other driver after a car accident.
Yeah. So you know what's crazy is that guy called.
Who are we checking on?
Oh, sorry. Let me stop
Sarah,
this from playing again.
And how are you related?
Yeah. So that guy actually called, and they deemed that there wasn't enough evidence to do anything again. So, yeah, CPS and law enforcement absolutely let these kids down.
They did. For the simple fact that the way they described the kids coming to their home that late was concerning, yes. Why are the kids jumping out of windows this time in the morning? Begging people, come on, kids don't do that. Kids don't jump out of windows late in the morning, could have injured themselves, unalived themselves, to go and knock on a stranger's door begging for help. Now those kids are no longer here. Right, Milky Way? The death of these children are on everybody's hands. His son-in-law, who went and told the parents. Why didn't y'all call the cops? Why didn't y'all call the police? Because fear in a child's eyes, you can see fear. You can see fear when a kid's ready to get a whooping. That's fear. The fear already kicks in when they know that you're ready to spank them. But this is abuse these kids endured. So imagine the fear. Back when this happened, I felt like the couple was trying to be the Brad and Angelina by adopting black kids. The attention was fun until it wasn't, and they didn't have a Brad. Jay Dunn, yes. Yes, the stardom of it. You know, wasn't nothing like a white couple adopting black children then, Jay Dunn. You so right. Jay Dunn. And that's what somebody else said, Jay Dunn. They said once they once they got them kids legally, there was no more money coming in. And that's when they didn't want them. And all of a sudden they just didn't want children anymore. But how did they drop that little girl off at that clinic with that therapist and never come back and then not be neglected?
Okay, I wasn't going to be that harsh on him before, but this is ridiculous, okay? So this is even another incident. And this guy was absolutely, you could tell how absolutely worried he was about these kids, all right? Now listen, one of them jumped out of the second-story window onto the roof.
Exactly.
And then went into their house. It was exactly the same. You remember how in the DeKalb's story, how the girl cuddled up in the corner and tried to hide, and then later on the other kids showed up and all said, "Oh, everything's fine, everything's fine." I mean, it's like clockwork. They absolutely controlled these kids to do what they needed them to say and do to protect themselves from being accused of being abusive to the kids. Yes. I mean, it's unbelievable. Okay, and wow. His thought about them being kidnapped is totally legitimate in terms of how you might perceive it by looking at how they were treated. They were African American, and the two parents were white, so maybe they're thinking, "Oh man, he kidnapped them," right? Because they were. I mean, look how scared that girl was. All right. It's just unbelievable. And obviously, the neighbor must have said other things to the father, the guy that called, because he did mention he's the kind of guy that doesn't like to get involved. All right, so
you get involved when kids are involved. That man, that's just an excuse. If I see a kid hurt, I'm getting involved. I don't give a damn whose kid it is. Yeah, he just didn't want to get involved because they were black. Because, man, I'm telling y'all. And yes, some things we can't blame on race, but come on, who sees kids? Fear in a child's eyes, real fear. And now we're here, no kids. You getting involved, sir, could have saved these kids' lives. To us, get involved. I don't care if it's your child. Get involved. Yeah, they should have called the police, Deborah. Get involved. Hey, Zen, baby.
This is crazy right here, okay? So that's the update I have on the Hart family, and I hope you guys, get some useful information out of it and start really realizing this was a barbarian set of parents right here, okay? Especially Jennifer, okay? I'm not going to cut Sarah any slack, but I guess if I use the word "but," she seems to have been sort of like an abused wife syndrome, but didn't do a damn thing to protect those kids. Okay, at least nothing we're aware of. All right, so that's all I have for you. And
yeah, I'm gonna do an update on this next week because I got this week pretty much packed up, and I don't want to be overwhelmed and stuff like that. Man, I appreciate you guys so much. But the night doesn't end. It's Friday the 13th. And this does kind of similar with the Harris family, right? CPS, 12 calls. A monster under the bed. But how much of a monster was he? Because I'm going to read Brooklyn's transcripts tonight. They're right here. They're right here. We're going to read Brooklyn's transcripts and see what happened with Brooklyn. Oh, and it's deep. Oh, this is horrific. Just when you think you heard it all with the Harris family. Not at all. Right, Lalizi. Right, Levi. Right, Carla. Thank you, Nashira. Thank you. Is it Nashira? I think it's Nashira. Nashira. I don't want to get it wrong. Tell me how to pronounce it. But these are Brooklyn's transcripts. But not just Brooklyn's, because we got some more. I want to break down Jason's. Jason May. Detective Jason Mays. After reading yours, I was... But then I want to read the Border Patrol. It's interesting. The Border Patrol is interesting. But then I got so many more in a box. I'm going to read them. 11, Terry. I'm going to read them. I'm going to break them down so we can get understanding. And yeah. Then I'm going to come back next week and I'm going to do the Hart family. I'm going to dig more into this story. But Brooklyn's transcripts, page 104 to 129. That was a lengthy testimony, right? 104 to 129. It's Friday the 13th. For sure. It's about monsters, you know? Okay, Jayden, thank you. Right, Talonda. Yeah, it's a planned statement. Because we've been wanting to hear what Brooklyn said in court, right? What did Brooklyn have to say? And what she said. Oof. I'm going to hold my words. I'm going to hold my thoughts. Because I'm going to save it for movie night. So that's just what I'm going to have. I'm going to run my candy fun up. Because we're going to be here. These three transcripts, I want to break a couple down. I think I'm going to save Brooklyn's for last. Yeah. I'm going to save her 20-something pages last. Because ain't that what it is on Friday the 13th? Demonic monsters, entities. That's what we've always been taught. And it's just, when I read this transcript, what it was. And she said some very interesting things. Marquita, and Annette, and Shannon. Karen, 11, movie night. Thank you guys so much for coming through. I appreciate you guys. Stay up with me. Make sure your notification bells is turned on. Jay Dunn, I will check my emails in just to check a second and see what you got so I can cover it and stuff like that. And then I'm going to go, I'm going to come back and do it for you and tell you my thoughts on it. But I'm going to do a second update to not only that, Dakota Collins 911 phone calls. Disturbing, to say the least. But nothing's more disturbing than these transcripts. And I got a receipt I want to show. You know? It's not nothing to it, but it is. So I want to show a receipt, you know? When I put out information, I put it out to the best of my factual ability. But I like black and white. It's something about black and white that matters. It just is. Something about black and white that matters. This chat makes you think it's Friday. Why you say that, Talonda? My chat good. I am, because I want to play alive. I want to talk about some stuff. It's a movie night. So when I talk about certain cases, I want to play lives, ensure that incorporates with some stuff I'm going to talk about. It's movie night with the Harrises, Nashara. Tune in, okay? Seeing it confirms the reality of events. Just know anything coming from this channel is 100% genuine. You better know it, goddess. Mom Dukes. Yeah, you 504. You hear me, Yolanda? Y'all. Yeah, I gotta see black. I be telling my mods where it come from, who it come from. Y'all got that on paper? I need to see it, and it got to be signed, sealed, delivered. Cause I don't do three ways. I don't do secondhand information. I don't like it. But when I got black and white, it tells everything. Salute everybody. I'll see you guys back for movie night. I'm gonna go get me some candy. Okay. She said, yikes, another 13 number. I mean, it is Friday the 13th, right? Nazaya was 13 when she went missing. It's only right that we get to the nitty gritty of things. DCA. Yeah. Yeah, Mom Dukes, it was disturbing. The phone calls, the 911 calls was like, you can't be serious. So I want to cover him, see what Jay Dunn sent me. Miss Minnie. But let's read and look at some stuff because I want to kind of go off some stuff that was said. A slumber party's in? Yeah, kind of. But salute everybody. Thank you guys so much for coming through. And prayers for those kids. And I wish Devontae was alive. I do. But unfortunately, I don't think with these monsters that he is. But I appreciate each and every one of you guys. See you later.
Miss Parker, the YouTube star, lighting up the screen, you know who you are. Bringing news you can use and a laugh or two. She's got the facts, the fun, and the realest view. With a voice so smooth and a smile so bright, she's shining like a beacon in the darkest night. Deep dives on the stories that really matter. She's breaking it down, cutting through the chatter. Pop and stay a while, you'll feel right at home. She's got a little something for everyone. With a heart so big and an attitude strong. Miss Parker's where you know you belong. She's an advocate, a friend, a voice for the unheard. Asking all the questions, never missing a word. Or a second to none. She's blazing like the sun. Miss Parker, the only one. She's got the news to amuse and the truth to reveal. Digging for the answers, keeping it real. For those who need a champion, she's standing tall. Fighting for justice, she's giving her all. With every upload, she's making a change. Bringing people together, no matter the range. So hit that subscribe, don't miss a beat. Miss Parker's got the content that can't be beat. Questions we all have, she's not afraid to ask. Uncovering the story, she's up to the task. With a laugh, a wink, and a spirit so true. Miss Parker's got the magic and she's sharing it with you. Pop and stay a while, you'll feel right at home.
I had to pause for this. Jay Dunn, really? Jay Dunn. Jay Dunn, are you still watching? So Jay Dunn sent me a reading she wanted done on my baby. Yeah. Jay Dunn got a reading about my baby, Kamari. And it's on YouTube, so I gotta go listen and see. Jay Dunn. Yeah. Salute everybody. I just had to put that out there, but yeah. Thanks, Jay Dunn. I'll read into it.
She's got a little